All right, here's the cooking show. We're gonna be cooking with 4-year-old Bisquicks and 4-year-old dry milk. Be one of the easiest recipes. However, there's a secret ingredient to get your 4-year-old Bisquick mix to get fluffier, to make a little fluffier, what do you call it, biscuits. And that is the addition of baking soda. That's right, just a pinch of baking soda will make you some better biscuits. Well, let's get started here. We're going to make them pretty powdery, so you want to leave some left out. You don't want to use, how would you say, all of your biscuit mix. You need to leave some to dry it out when you're kneading it all in. Let's go ahead and dump about half of that in there. Dump most of it in there. Leaving about that much there to work with. Alright. Now we're going to add about half this pack. Each one of these makes a quart. So I'm going to put enough of this milk powder in here to make approximately 6. There we go. About a half a package of the milk. We'll save this for the next batch. And as far as baking powder goes, for this quantity we're making here, which will be mini biscuits or several large biscuits, we want about a tablespoon. As you can see that right there, approximately a tablespoon of baking soda. And that will help make your biscuit puff up a lot more. That's the secret ingredient. So go ahead and stir in that baking soda. Make sure there's any clumps in there. We're done up. Now, here's another trick. Try to filter your water through a carbon filter to get rid of the chlorine. Chlorine in your water is bad for any baking products. It yeast doesn't like chlorine. It really doesn't like chlorinated water. So you really want to try to get the chlorine out of the water. Here's the fun, messy part right here. Oh, gooey in there. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that mess. Oh, did I mention you should wash your hands before you get this done? Get started on this? And get that all in there. Let me stand up here to get this part of it done. Knead it in there very well. No, dog, this is not for you. Anyway, that's got it pretty well where I can work in little chunks of it. So let me move this over here now. Move this over here. And we're going to dust my table here a little bit with some more powder. There we go. And we're going to pull out a chunk. Now while you're doing this, make sure your oven is preheated. That's about a biscuit right there. But see, what I want to do is I want to fold it over. Okay, might have figured my alarm would take now to go off. Here, turn the alarm off. There we go. And just keep folding it over. And folding it over. And then fold it again. See, every time you folding it, you're getting a little bit more dust in there, and that adds your layers. And you can see that's a pretty good sized biscuit right there. So let me get the plate, and I want to put it in. Of course, we're not going to bake it in this, but I want that to be about a ½ an inch thick. There we go. That's about a ½ inch thick. Now you could freeze it like this and just pull it out when you're ready to bake it, because that right there is one big old biscuit to go with your. That'll puff up to twice that size. It'll puff up twice this thickness when you cook it. So there's your puffy biscuit, and I'll just set this off to the side and grab out another pile right here, about the size of a fist, about a fist size. Roll it down there, maybe a little bit bigger than that. Put it down there, and then roll it up. Roll it again. See, each time you do that, you're adding a layer, and then you want to roll it again, and roll it again. And then get it down to its, of course you could use a rolling pin, but I'm not using a rolling pin. I just don't want to. If you want to, you can. I'm just going to do it like this. There's my second biscuit. Now, you see it's getting down to this, so I need to make sure I keep that dusted with powder. Grab another batch here. And put a little bit more in there. Fold it over. Fold it over. Fold it over. And fold it over. You know what? I don't know if I have a rolling pin or not. Yeah, I got a rolling pin. I've been hit with that enough times. That just kind of gets it even. Actually, it helps if you pinch up these edges. Just makes your biscuit look a little bit better. And there we go. There's another big biscuit. Or as I like to call them, a fisket. So make sure your pan's good and dry, and to keep the biscuits from sticking, just dust it with that right there, and lay your biscuits on top of that. And I'll be back in a little while and you'll see what happens to these. And here we are. Now look at the size of those. Whoops. These are still hot, so that is how big those puff up to. That little, they would still puff up if you didn't add the baking soda, but they wouldn't puff up that much. Well, there you go. Now you put one of them on top of a bowl of beans, pinto beans, which I'll cover in the next video, will be my special recipe for pinto beans. You put that in there, and you've heard of pot pie. Well, this would be like a pinto bean pie right there. You just put that on top of your pinto beans, and that's a full dinner right there, buddy. That right there is one big monster. Monster hillbilly sized biscuit right there for you, big boy. There you go.